say I
can't drive.
Woman can't drive was one of them. Yeah, that was kind of weird.
So you don't think that men are overall better drivers than women?
No.
So when you see the worst parking you've ever seen in your life, you don't think it's more likely to be a female? It's just as equally likely to be a man in your view.
Crazy, bro.
When I see, oh yeah, exactly what you just said. Yes.
Then that's your opinion. What's the argument?
Like I said, it's not. It doesn't have to be an opinion, right? That's your anecdotal evidence, which is like kind of a bias, right? When you want to bring out things like women can't drive, you're going to go with stats, and your stats are off. You're just wrong about them.
Well, everyone is firstly, when you talk about biases, absolutely everybody is biased to their own personal experiences, right? If I'd been in 5 car crashes and all 5 of them were driven by women by coincidence, I'm going to be biased. I'm going to believe that women are less capable.
And then because fair enough.
Just sit here and pretend you're not biased and you're beyond biases is bullshit. That's the first thing.
Okay.
We're all biased.
Okay, and then like a natural, good, educated human being, you're probably going to go on the internet and find some study that maybe you're right about it, and then you're going to figure out that you're wrong.
Study. Oh yeah, the internet study. Oh, why didn't I think of just following the internet study and not?
You're right, because we could have gone fucking Tate's experience instead.
Why do I all my own personal experience and obey the internet study and get my 5th injection and just do everything the internet says?
You're right.
My personal experiences. Females aren't as capable of driving as males. That's my personal experience. You can't come along and tell me that's not true. So, and I don't give a shit. Study. So
the next time we have a problem with science or some shit or physics, why go to the internet or talk to some experts? Let's go ask Tate's experience on it, and we'll have the answer to it, right? Sorry, no insults. That was just I got unhinged. Sorry for that.
It's fine. That's what Twitch does to people.
That is what Twitch does.
It is.
Be very different in person.
Wow, damn.
But that's fine. That's the internet. Well, my personal experiences dictate to me, as all of your personal experiences dictate to you, certain realities about the earth. And in my personal experience, every car crash I've been in, every time my car's been hit, the worst parking I've ever seen has always been by a female. Now, I'm not saying females are bad people. I'm saying they're better than men at other things.
Okay.
Men have, if you want to talk about internet studies, because you seem to believe internet studies for some reason, even though you can give me lies, you can give me big lies, you can give me statistics.
Don't dish Gallups. They're one topic at a time.
No, studies are the biggest lies on earth. But if you want to talk about studies, it's been proven that females do not have the same kind of spatial awareness that men have. They do not have the reaction times that men have. They've not evolved. This has been studied and found. You want to talk about studies?
Yet males cause more crash accidents on the road than women.
Another interruption.
Cool. So we have
they have less tools. You and studies, they cause more accidents, but according to your experience, they cause more accidents. So you're right. So you are right.
Correct. And we have studies that conflict. And in my personal experience, I feel safer when a man is driving me than if a woman is driving me. That's my personal experience. If you want to sit here hoping that if you keep saying women can drive, you might get a girl, that's your decision. But in my personal experienes, that's not the case. I don't know why we're going to sit here and argue about it.
Perfect. Then in that case, then what you're saying is that since you're such a smart being, if you go to the casino and there's 60% red squares and 40% black ones, right? 60-40, you should bet on the 40% black ones because that's how you're going to make money. According to your analysis of these stats, right?
I don't truly understand the analogy.
And it's simple.
Yeah, because it's a dumb
very simple. Like I just said. According to your interpretation
I didn't get it
of
either,
the stats on the internet or whatever, right? You would bet on the 40% outcome instead of 60%, and you're saying this is a good bet.
Oh, bro, I know, and I mean this with respect. I know the internet is your life, right? I don't use the internet for stats when I get into a car with a bitch. I don't go and go, okay, well, she's blonde. Let me look up the blonde chicks. Can they drive? Da-da. I get in a car and I look at her driving and go, and this bitch can't drive. That's what I do, right? And any man who's honest with himself has been in the car with a chick who's driving on some wild ass, crazy, texting on her phone, risking everyone's life. Every man knows I'm telling the truth. I know you can't say it. Okay. You don't want to get canceled, blah, blah, blah. You just sit here and say, when you get in a car with a girl, you look up an internet study first. Shut up.
What are you talking about? A bad driver on the road that you can see is a bad driver. I don't give a fuck if they're old, if they're missing both fucking hands, if they're a guy, if they're white, they're black. I don't give a fuck. That person can't fucking drive. They can't fucking drive. I don't say, oh, I'm gonna go to the study or I'm gonna do this to Andrew Tate. They can't fucking drive. Let me brake a little bit and fucking change lane, yo.
That's not what you're saying you would do, though.
I'm going to interject real quick into this one-on-one here, okay? Do you remember
xQc, he doesn't get to be at tier.
Who's winning?
example I gave about real life or like the real world versus the internet world?
Yeah.
Well, the example I gave about the word slut. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
I think I had that take exactly on point. In the real world, like I think when Andrew says what he's saying, right? Like, you know, the people get are like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about, right? But in the internet world, everyone's very, very, very they're very exact, right? So when Andrew says women are bad drivers, the internet assumes that he's saying all women are bad drivers, women are terrible, women are fucking less than, right? So it just depends here. Are you talking like the real world talking where we understand what you're saying? Like when a rapper says all these girls are hoes, right? We know he's not saying all women are hoes. We know what he's talking about. When you go to the party, that one chick that's sleeping with all the dudes is a hoe, right? We get that comparison, but we know he's not saying that. So the real question here is, are you talking with the context of the real world only where you're kind of just making that, you're making that generalization, but you don't actually mean the generalization? Do you understand what I'm saying? Or are you actually a sexist? That's what the question is.
That's a very good question, and it's very professionally asked. So I like the way you've asked it. It's very professional.
Thank you.
No, you're completely and utterly correct. The way the rapper says that all women are hoes is an absolutely perfect analogy. I'm not saying there's not a female on the planet who can't drive a car. I'm not saying that. I'm saying in general, if every man was honest with himself, if he were to ask him, what's the worst driving you've ever seen? What's the most uncomfortable you've ever been in a car? What's the worst parking you've ever seen? What if you were to ask him and he was honest and he wasn't on the internet worried about getting canceled or trying to be correct or looking up statistics or any dumb shit, he'd probably say, I was in the car with this chick once and she nearly killed me. That is not saying women are bad creatures. I'm not saying all women drive that way. It doesn't mean that I don't think females should have a right to drive, etc. I'm saying in general, I think that men have faster reaction times. We are more interested in cars. We enjoy driving more. We pay more attention than women do. That is my experience.
So to hop in real quick, okay, the reason I could kind of predict that, Adin and everyone else in here, is because I went through the same thing. I came from the real world, okay, and I had the 1 foot in, 1 foot out thing. It's why the people I got along with most were Call of Duty players, right? Because they had the same experiences as me. We partied, we went out, we had the college life, we had the club life, and we gamed, right? So I understood that lingo, but I got in a lot of trouble for it, right? If you look at my speeches, I got banned. People said I'm sexist, misogynistic, because I spoke in that exact way. I assumed people were intelligent enough to understand the context in which I was saying these things. But the internet is not like that. The internet applies the worst case scenario, the worst possible context, and they will drill you for it.
Tren, you're fighting ghosts. You're fighting ghosts. Nobody's saying that right now. We're not in that right now. We're talking. Like,
this is why I could predict that he is talking in the real world on the internet. That's the issue. That's the disconnect.
You know, Tren, I'm gonna go against you. I'm gonna say, you know whose fault that is? That is your fucking fault. Wanna know why? Because you are a bad communicator. If you can't communicate your thought properly, so people understand it for what it is,
now I
then
can.
you are lacking skill in communication to make your point what it actually is. That is your problem.
He's spasmatic. That boy is spasmatic.
Okay. X, as you know now, I communicate very well. Now, when I make my speeches or when I make my points, I don't just explain the real world side. I explain the 1,700 different possible worlds it could be analyzed in, it could be perceived as it could be perceived in. I explain it in every way possible because I have a platform now on the internet. So now I've become a better communicator, and I explain in every context. So yeah, that's my point is right now Tate is in his, it's the inception of it, right, on the internet from the real world. So that's the disconnect.
Tell me how he is. Then tell me how it is. Say, Tate, I think you are a bad communicator of your takes, and you are bad at dialogue. Say it like
not a bad communicator.
Tell him. Fucking tell him then.
X, it's not a bad communicator. What it is it's an unawareness of the internet type of person. You understand? When you're never on the internet, you don't know. Like, I didn't know people like this existed. You understand? I didn't know they existed. So you can't fathom to even have the possible world to explain something in a way.
Okay.
Or maybe he is aware, but he just doesn't give a fuck.
Okay.
That's what it is. He knows exactly.
You say women can't drive. Okay, it doesn't matter what your audience is, right? It is a blanket statement.
Have you seen Nick Pullum's poll? Nick Pullum's poll on Funniest Streamer. Do you know why that is? Because when I'm in person, I make jokes like that. I go, must be a woman driver that caused that accident. I make jokes of that. Do I think all women? No, women are better drivers than I am. I'm a shit driver as a man.
These are joke in context, yeah. But if you make a statement that you're
that's
serious,
why I'm asking him, is he just making that generalized kind of stereotypical joke, or is he truly a sexist? That's what I'm asking. I asked him. He said no. He said he's not a sexist. He's making that generalized joke statement.
Okay. Then when you don't have a dialogue with somebody and it's a monologue and you're alone and you go on camera and you say, women can't drive without no precision, without no saying, exception is exception, without going down the list of why it's a joke, whatever the fuck. You think it's a good thing? You think you're being a good communicator? You go on and say, women cannot drive. And segment.
Wrong. No, here's the part.
Does he owe that?
Wait. I got to respond to this. He's talking to me. I have a responsibility. Just trust me here. I apologize for interrupting you, but just hear me out here, okay? X. Yeah, I believe, listen, I don't think he has the experience on the internet yet to understand why he is in the wrong to make, I think there's a dramatization, right? I think he's intelligent and is aware of what he's doing. It's a dramatization for these dumb fucks in the chat that sit there and say, fuck yeah. It's a dramatization factor.
Okay, Train, let's run
so for that, I think it's wrong.
Statement like that, but instead replace.
For that, I think it's wrong.
Hey, Train.
For that, I agree with you, X.
Okay. Then if you're ready to prove your own point, then right about the severity of it. How about make a same statement for the same topic or another one about black people? Go ahead. Do it now. Do it.
But why would we do that?
I made that point earlier. About the consistency argument.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If it's not bad, because it's a joke because it's.
I didn't say it's not bad.
It's a woman joke.
I said the dramatization of the too far jokes is for the dramatization to get people in. And I said that part is wrong. And I do have a consistency. You ask Nick Poland, in front of him, I make those jokes. I make all kinds of jokes about everything and everyone. Believe that. You ask Nick Poland, he'll go live right now and say I do. I do.
X, why don't you ask Tate if you would say that about a race or something like that? A generalization like that
Facts,
about a
Rage.
joke
Take
about
over,
a race
Rage.
or ethnicity.
Rage is being an alpha right now.
Hey, listen.
You could have asked him now.
Let's understand my ethnicity.
question.
Let him talk.
So I'm half black, half white, right? That's my ethnicity.
Wait,
so we understand my ethnicity.
I
made a joke.
What did he think he was?
One of my cousins, because half my family's black, half my cousin's white, and he said he wanted to go free diving. It's where you dive down in the water and you go deep with no scuba equipment with the sharks or some shit. And I said, bro, that's what white people do. That shit. I'm too brown for that. I'm not going with the sharks. I just made a joke.
That's some stuff
there. Oh no, diving. Cancel me. Who gives a fuck? When I make a statement, bro. Listen, when I make a statement, maybe you do. Maybe you have all the fucking time in the world to sit on the internet, my friend. But when I make a statement, I don't have time to say, in my personal experience, I don't believe women can drive. However, I understand that some women can drive, and I'm not saying all women can't drive, and I know women who can drive. But in my personal experience, the bad driving I've seen was most likely committed by women. That I don't talk like a fucking geek. I say women can't drive. Now, if that upsets geeks like you, cool, whatever. Because geeks, I don't give a fuck. That's what I say. If it upsets people, tough. That's my personal experience. You're gonna have to get the fuck over it. That's life. And if you want to say I'm a bad communicator, once again, that's your prerogative. But I would disagree. I think I'm very good at communicating. It's the only reason I'm even fucking here. It's the only reason I'm even on the internet. It's because when I talk, people listen. So I must be doing something right.
I mean, it's easy to dog whistle to like a misogynist. That's really easy. It's one of the easiest things out there. Preaching to the choir, that's so easy to get in following doing that. You hate women on these points and these points. It's gonna be easy to stack them up like fucking easy. Holy shit! I have built a fucking world of a community based on being toxic. It's the easiest thing in the world. Way easier than being good and being nice.
I'm a very good, nice person.
Surely.
By saying that, I think that men are more capable of driving than women. It does not make me a bad person or a not nice person. It means that if I car and it's snowing and it's late at night and it's dark, I'm going to drive. I'm not going to let some 18-year-old chick drive. I'm going to fucking drive because I like staying alive. And let me tell you something.
Funny you bring that up because last time you talked about car accidents or whatever, and then you brought stats. You said that, well, it's because the males be doing more accidents because they're young, right? So even with your own example, right, you would actually prefer having a young female driver, not a young male, according to you. That's what you said last time on the fucking podcast. Then it is exactly what you said. I'm using your words against you. You said that, oh yeah, males do more crashes when you're young because they're young and excited, whatever. You just said, I wouldn't let a young girl drive my car. Then you would let.
Okay, old girl.
I'm just saying, be consistent about it.
Let me pause this real fast. So, what's the I guess worst driver you've ever had? Was it a guy, a girl, what?
It was a girl.
Oh, okay.
It was one of my friends.
All right.
And she's normally a good driver, normally pretty safe. One time she went through a red light, full red light.
Just blew right through it.
Not even blue. Didn't even see it.
Didn't even see it.
Did not even see the traffic light.
Okay.
No. And just coasting along and just went through the intersection. And as we go through, I go, red light. And the only reason we didn't get T-boned from the other direction was because that brief period of time when, like, the light turns red before the other direction gets the green light, we had, like, half a second before the light changed, basically.
Oh, man.
So we were halfway through the intersection. So the cars at the front of the lanes saw us, and they didn't start going yet.
Okay.
But yeah, she just legit did not see the red light. Because when I went, red light, she went, huh? Oh! Yeah.
For me, I would say, I guess the worst driver would have been a female. I had this friend who back in the day rear-ended a motorcyclist who was stopped at a red light. Like, you know, like you're supposed to just stop at the red light. She just like went right through him. He was fine and all, but yeah, just I don't know what she was doing, but yeah.
Points.
Exactly, right? Some GTA stuff. But I've also known people who've had people rear them at stop lights or whatever, and they were guys who did it. But in general, she was always a little bit off. So I would say she's probably the worst driver that I've known. Now, the most dangerous driver that I've known, we've known, was our neighbor.
Oh.
Yeah. Him and his whole family is at risk. If you hop into the car with this guy, you are in danger. That's the best way I can put it. Like, he's an actual maniac behind the wheels.
Yeah.
Like, actually kind of crazy.
He'll cut corners. He'll cut safety corners. He'll cut anything that he can in order to just basically just keep going fast.
Any corner.
Yeah.
So that would be the most dangerous driver. Now, the reason I think that I haven't seen the internet studies or anything like that. Real quick about internet studies. I think they both have a point, right? If you have something you want to present to as a debate, then having some kind of
scientific data proof is good.
Yeah, in quotation, scientific data. Is good to back up what you say, so you're not just coming out saying this is how I feel, basically. You know, but like you were saying about internet studies, you can get one subject and then find internet studies to support both sides of whatever it is that you want to.
They can be very biased.
Yeah,
it depends on where the research is being done. It depends on who's funding it. It depends on what the angle of that group doing the study is as well.
Exactly. I'm sure you could find an internet study saying protein is bad for you somewhere, you know, so internet studies, right? Yeah. But in general, it is good to have something to back up your claim. But again, internet studies are definitely a grain of salt kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's what I definitely want to say about that. Let's see what he's about to say now, huh?
Listen, let me tell you something, my friend. There's a cognitive dissonance. There's some serious damage that the internet is doing to society. I spoke about it on Adin Ross on his podcast, and I spoke about how the internet as a whole has changed the world. I'm old enough to see it. And one of the ways it's changed the world is when there are certain beliefs, there are certain paradigms which are not allowed to be punctured, certain parameters which are set by the matrix in which you must pretend certain things are true. People ignore their own eyes and their own ears because they are afraid of upsetting the matrix. And my point is that a person like you, and I mean this with respect, I'm not here to argue with you, this is a professional debate. A person like you whose entire income, personality, his importance, his ego, everything relies on a Twitch account. If you lose it, you ain't shit. If you lose it, you ain't shit. And the problem is that you could be in 10 car crashes driven by 10 different women, and you will still not come here and say women can't drive as well as men because you are afraid. You are not non-biased. You are sitting here inside of parameters that you must conform to or you don't exist. I don't give a fuck. That's the difference between you and me. That's why I say things that people don't.
Yeah. I don't know what it means. The last part. I mean, you talk about the matrix and the systems or whatever the fuck, but you don't even.
He's just gonna glaze over the party doesn't like.
Cool in the real world because you have money. Talk about the matrix, the fucking currency, and you think you're the top G because of that, and it makes you more important than other people who have value to society.
I'm not only the top G because I have money. In fact, I think I talked about this with Adin Ross as well. I talked about how money is an amplifier.
So that's a really good point, is that people who are big on a lot of these platforms are beholden to what the platform wants. It's political views to a point, and some of its social rules and social norms and things like that. Yeah. Because Twitch is real bad about kicking people off whom it doesn't like. Velvet 7.
Yeah.
They gave Velvet 7. Okay, so real quick with Twitch. Twitch kicked off Velvet 7 and it kicked off Queen Miko, two very cool, fun Korean streamers, because they would dance and like sometimes do sexy dances, right? A few months later, after getting rid of them, they add a whole fucking section where women don't have to wear clothes. Fucking hot pools. Like, they literally don't have to wear hot tubs. Yeah, they literally don't have to wear clothes.
Yeah.
You know, they show up in string bikinis and thongs.
They may as well just be on OnlyFans.
Basically, yes, the OnlyFans section of Twitch.
Yeah.
But then they kicked off Velvet 7, Queen Miko, and other girls for just dancing to like little K-pop songs and stuff like that and dressing up in cosplay. Twitch is a vile place. Now, it's almost unavoidable if you want to stream. There are other options. But Twitch is a great place to be seen. So you get stuck in this weird kind of paradigm where if you're not in Twitch, you severely hurt your chances for exposure. But if you are in Twitch, then you're beholden to some strange rules that could just jump out and affect you for no damn good reason at all.
Yeah.
And they don't explain these things to you. Aside from the girls that they've been unfair to, they've been unfair to a lot of streamers. Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah.
When he got banned, he claimed not to have any idea at all about how it happened, what it was all about. They just kick you the fuck off. They've done this to countless streamers. And if you're a small streamer, you don't have a voice. Like, you just disappear from the internet, or at least from Twitch. And, you know, only people in your little pocket know what happened to you, you know?
Yeah.
Phantom Lord, he was a streamer who basically had something like this happen to him. And he won a lawsuit against Twitch recently, where I guess basically because of the way it was done and they didn't explain what was done, he was able to recoup some of the money. But most importantly, the win of the lawsuit was for the community, because the money that he got wasn't that substantial, but it was
just
a little
meant a lot.
Yeah, it meant a lot. It was a little message to Twitch, like, if you're going to kick people off, you need to give better reasons. You just don't boot people off, because people bill as streamers. They bill so much time, man, woman, boy, girl, whatever. They all spend a lot of time building up a community so that they can make that their income. And then just to log in one day to find out that you can't log in, that's it. You have bills. You might have a family. You have cars. You have homes. And just no explanation as to why you're not going to pay any of that.
That's not fair at all.
Not fair, unacceptable. And I'm going to say it is fucking wrong. Wrong. But yeah, what Tate is saying about, Andrew Tate is saying about being beholden to Twitch and why his opinion has to conform to what they want to some degree isn't wrong at all. You find a lot of the top tier streamers conform to what Twitch's political alignments and beliefs are. If they talk about it. Like, by and large, a lot of the big streamers on Twitch, they're not going to bring it up.
Yeah.
And like, if there is anything controversial, and somebody in their chat brings it up, they'll kind of dodge the issue.
Yeah.
Or they won't acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, I mean, it's understood why.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that it's right.
Yeah, that's true. And you find some streamers who will talk about things like that, like
Trainwrecks, for instance, actually.
Who?
Trainwrecks.
Oh yeah, Trainwrecks.
Trainwrecks will do it.
Yeah, he'll talk about it. Summer 1G, you know, some of those guys.
Yeah.
Obviously Destiny, but they got rid of Destiny too.
Yeah.
So I mean, damn, you know, they're out here just trying to murk people. But all right, let's go.
Money alone will not make you significant or important. I talked about how money will amplify. Before I was rich. I was the man before I was rich, and then I got rich on top. That's it's amplified me. That's all it's done. It hasn't changed who I am. There's plenty of people with lots of money who ain't shit.
Okay, so because of the vehicle of my message is Twitch, it's devalidated.
It's not that it's devalidated at all, my friend. I think that Twitch is a fantastic. And you're meeting lots and lots of people, and I'm here on Twitch as well myself. My point is that you exist inside of parameters. The people who rely on the system will always fight to defend the system. The parameters are set in a way in which you cannot be completely and utterly honest, even if your personal experience tells you so. We don't even have to talk about driving. We can talk about anything. We can talk about the last 3 years where you walked around and didn't see a single sick person, and you had to pretend that you were supposed to be scared inside of your house because the parameters have told you if you say anything else, you lose your entire life. And your life is online. This is the reality. Not most people are not allowed to say what they think.
okay, this works both ways though. It's not because you have harsher takes and crazier takes that this doesn't apply to you. I feel like you preach to the choir to fucking incels. Literally, that's like your bread and butter.
Wait, is it not TOS chat?
So by saying,
that's
try not to
your
go against
bread
these
and
opinions.
butter. You're the one with the insults.
It's just how
I
it is.
agree.
So that's an interesting point of view, and we'll go into it in a second. But first things first, I want to clarify, because as I said, I'm a professional, and this is a professional debate. My takes are not harsh or extreme. Every single man, every single sports club, every single football team, every single group of men sitting around having a drink will make a joke about how women can't drive. Every single fucking one. So to sit here and pretend I have some extreme view is bullshit.
So his internet cuts out. But yeah, he's got a point. People, a lot of the social media spaces, like Twitter and things like that, will ban accounts that don't conform.
Yeah, they're very insulated. Yeah,
that's a problem.
and it kind of ties into what you said earlier as well. How like what people say in real life and what they say on the internet are very different.
Very different.
Yeah,
very different. One thing I want to say about the like the younger guys causing accidents is it could be true, right? And it's something I actually would probably believe is true. But that's because men and women like approach life differently, right? It's not that the guys are bad drivers. They're more willing to take risks. They're more out there trying to have fun with the car.
they're a little more reckless.
Exactly. How many girls you know get their first car and then they want to drift around the corner, okay? Teach me how to drift, right? And like, if you're a guy and you want to drift around a corner, you do it around your streets. Because where else you gonna go drifting? Huh? Who's gonna teach you? Is your dad gonna show you how to drift? No, it's your homeboy. You know, is your mom gonna show you how to drift? No, it's your homeboy. So that's why, and then when you fuck up the drift, you hit a curb or something. So it looks bad on paper, but it's just the same as anything else. I bet you more guys have injuries than girls do. It's not the, yeah, exactly. And the male body is certainly not a weaker thing than a female body, but I'm sure male bodies get broken more often than female bodies. Think about it.
If there's any category in which scientific or internet studies are done that it is very hard to argue a point, it is a fact, and it is well established that yes, males in general are more reckless, are more crazy, are more physically prone to injury than females, simply because they're more willing to try stuff.
Exactly.
Dangerous or not. All you have to do is look at sports, BMX, skateboarding, snowboarding. Those, male dominated. Yeah, they're females now. But it was male dominated. Still is. And then, like, for instance, even in tying into the car thing, young males typically, on average, have the highest insurance policy risk.
That's true.
That is for a reason.
Not because they're bad.
Types exist.
It's because the insurance company knows you're going to try some shit. They're like, hey, you just got that car, you're going to try some shit.
Yeah, you're going to pay us because we'll make sure you're good, but you're going to pay for that.
Yeah.
Because statistically speaking, it has been shown that yes, crazier shit happens.
Exactly. I recently did over 150 somewhere. You know, I'm just saying. So, I mean, I do street racing. Some people do street racing. Some people just drive fast. But if you're a guy, at some point in time, you're going to be hopping on the pedal just to see what it feels like.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the girls can drive fast too. But guys are going to want to, like, see what it feels like. Have fun. Yo, man, pull up. You just got the car, right? Let's see. Let's go to a red light. You know, those are the things guys do. But it's not because they're bad that the accidents happen. It's because they take more risks that the accidents happen. For instance, if I was in a situation where I needed a getaway driver, 10 out of 10, I'm going to want the guy to be driving me at the get out situation, you know, the getaway situation.
Yeah.
If I'm going to the store and I get an Uber, I really don't care if it's a guy or a girl, you know, like whatever, just get me to the store, get me back, whatever. And it's not like women are these terrible drivers who can't make it to the store and back without blowing up a vehicle. But if you were to put skill set beside skill set, you'd find that the guys drive better. I mean, look at race cars. You know, you had Danica Patrick as like the female.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's her name.
And she was great for a female driver. She was
okay
for a race car driver.
Yeah.
But she got a lot of attention because she was
the only female.
Yeah, maybe the only.
Was
female.
it what? It was Formula 500, right? Or was it NASCAR?
And she did NASCAR, and she did I think Formula before that. I think she did really good at Formula, and then okay at NASCAR.
Yeah,
I believe.
And okay at NASCAR is being generous. I don't think she ever broke top 50, did she?
She never won championship, I don't believe.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So I mean, not to rag on her, I think she's probably a better driver than most of the people who are going to watch this podcast, which are males. Howsoever, to be fair, she's had a lot more practice than you guys do. But
but at the end of the day, when you compare her to her peers, she couldn't stack up to them.
Exactly,
she just couldn't.
So it's not saying anything bad about females, but if you're going to compare the two, then you got to be honest about why the stats read the way they do. And I'm not saying that guys, it is their fault if you try to drift around a corner and your Mustang ends up hitting the fucking curb. That is your fault, and you are a guy, and you made that decision with your current skill level not being where it needs to be.
Yeah.
So yes, men are definitely more reckless, but they are also better drivers at the same time. So they're more reckless, but they're better at driving at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it does.
All right, let's see what's up.
Hold on. Top G is back. Hold on.